What's up, internet land? This is Zacchaeus Prime, aka Zacchaeus Prime, here with another Transformers The Last Night review. This is probably actually my last night review because there's really nothing else for that line really coming out. But thanks to a buddy of mine, he did loan me his Cogman figure, so I can get Cogman, and he's a cog and a man. You can see because he looks like a man, and check it out, he's got cogs on his cog boobies. But gosh, I wonder if you threw like a wooden shoe in there, you'd clog the cogs. He'd be cog blocked. I don't know. Anyhow, so this is Cogman from the Last Night line, and he's a lot bigger in this mode than he was in the show. In the show, he was that little like guy who was like smaller than human size. He was referred to as a headmaster, though. They could have been using headmaster in the traditional sense, not necessarily in the Transformers sense. But then Hasbro was like, you know what, F it, we're just going to make him an actual headmaster. So he's got the whole Titan Master gimmick here, which I think is kind of a fun thing. As you remember from when I reviewed Nitro Zeus has got the headmaster gimmick as well, though he doesn't actually come with the headmaster. He just comes with, you know, his head detaches, which makes this guy the only actual Last Night Titan Master guy. So in this mode, he looks pretty good. He's got a lot of the C-3PO tummy, and you know, a lot of the details that you see in the movie. He's got like pretty nice paint job on here. There's like a wash that's applied here, a little thicker in some areas and a little thinner in some other areas. Like here, you can see that there's like, you can see the brush stroke from when they just like the brush across it. Whereas over here, it's almost like a thumbprint on here. Gold paint apps here. And that's pretty much it. You've got some black paint apps, the wash, and a few gold paint apps. But I think it looks pretty good. In a perfect world, I think probably the outer panels of the figure would have been painted in silver, and actually it would have been cool if they painted the sword silver too. But you know, so the sword doesn't actually go here, but you can kind of like wedge it in his backpack, and it'll actually stay pretty well. It'll even stay if you shake him a bit. But he, you know, holds it just in a standard 5mm peg. If you open up this panel here, he can actually seat it a little deeper, and then you can like turn his wrists so he can like stand here and like kind of point the sword a little bit, which I think is kind of how, you know, swords should be held, bro. But yeah, he doesn't have really big heels, but if you make sure that his heels are flat on the ground, like, he stands really well. You know, he'll wobble just a little bit, but only a little bit. But anyhow, in terms of articulation, his head is your typical Titan Master affair. So he's basically like a little ball joint, but it really is just a swivel. His shoulder things go like that. He's got ball joints on his shoulders, which allow him to move it all around. Shoulder will move out that far. He can move it up a little bit more because he's got the joint here, and then he's got another joint in there, so you can actually bring it up to the full tree pose. He's got a bicep cut here, 90 degrees of articulation in his elbow. No wrist swivel, but like I said, if you open up this panel here, you can use this transformation joint to get some tiltage coming out of that. No waist joint, sadly, but oh well, we can't all be perfect figures, right? Hip moves forward that much, moves back that much, moves out maybe 50% of a Van Damme, maybe 45%. Knee joints is actually really stiff, so he's got a swivel right above the knee. I mean, this is on a ball joint too, so you can get a little bit of swivel out of that. But he's got an above knee cut right there, and then pretty stiff little knee joint, 90 degrees there. His foot articulates ever so slightly, but like I get the feeling that articulation of the foot is not a primary design point of this figure. But yeah. So he does have the standard headmaster function here. You can take another guy. I'll just use Braun because he's been my standard headmaster review guy since like the beginning. And transformation of this guy is exactly identical to all the Titans Return headmasters and even the current Prime Masters. So you can take him. Arms are on ball joints, but they really just swivel. Head is on a ball joint. Interestingly enough, his face sculpt here and his face sculpt there. Let me see if I can get some zoomage in on that. Gosh, that's yeah. It's actually the same face sculpt, like it's the same face, which is kind of cool. But the chest is not the same chest. But yeah, kind of a fun little thing. So let's get this guy transformed up. First thing you want to do is you want to take this panel here and pull this out far enough that you can extend this panel out like that. So pull that out, extend that. Then you want to push his feet all the way up so they're flush with that. And then turn them to face each other. So it's interesting, his feet, because his foot is actually designed to extend beyond the center line of this so that he's got clearance there. So what they did is they made it so that this foot is flat on the bottom and this foot has got a like a divot in there so that they can both actually extend out beyond this detail here, but still be able to fit together to make that, you know, mostly seamless. So that's kind of a cool little engineering idea that I actually have not seen before. Transformation here, just extended this up. There's a little tab here and there's a big tab here that goes into that slot there. So just kind of put that home, flip his hand in. Same with the other side, flip his hand in, put the tab in there, send it all home. For the backpack here, we're just going to pull this up a bit. This part here pulls out, extends, rotates around like that, and then pushes back in. You can see there's this little tab mechanism in there to make sure that gets lined up properly. So then we take these arms, we're going to fold them in. There's no tabs in here in the car per se, but there are these two tabs on the bumper section that will fold up onto right there like that. And then we've got little tabs in here that align this all together. Now this align, come on. Isn't it great how like everything all works perfectly until you turn on the camera and it's like, no, it don't want to work at all. That's odd. So this is actually an ideal point to put the figures in there. So there's no actual so you've got on the Titan Masters, you've got, you know, the little holes down here and the tab on the back. And a lot of these figures use the tab on the back of the legs to align them, but this one actually is going to use this little peg here. So there's a little peg in here and there's actually one on the passenger side as well. You just kind of put it in and put that foot in there. And that'll get him standing in there. In fact, we'll give him a passenger too. Sit him in there. So line that up and throw that peg in the hole. Don't you want to go to your home? And then this part will fold down. And there's two tabs here that fit into these slots right here. And then this part, there's two tabs right here that'll fit into these slots right here. And it closes that up. And then last but not least, we'll open this chest plate up, give this some actual clearance. Though I mean, I use the term actual clearance rather loosely. Open up his dick plate there and tab that in. And there he is in his car mode. And you'll see, if you look at this, he's got like 0.5 millimeter of actual clearance. But I mean, he rolls, I suppose, especially if you're using a perfectly flat surface. If there's any contour to your surface whatsoever, he's going to high center on this. But his alt mode is a pretty decent looking Aston Martin. James Bond mobile. I think this was in the movie for all of like 10 seconds. But you know, since it's the same color as Cogman, I suppose that warrants it being his alt mode. A little bit of red paint apps back here, some gray and black on top of the clear canopy. The windows are nice and clear. Usually I'm indifferent about clear windows, but because we've actually got passengers in here, I think that's kind of cool. Little clear headlights here. Like I said, I think that this probably would have been, I mean, in a perfect world, it'd be nice if they put some like silver paint on the outer panels. But I don't know, maybe Takara did that. I'm not sure. Actually, I think a lot of the Takara figures were identical to their Hasbro counterparts. So, but yeah, there's Cogman. He's pretty decent. He's kind of pricey to get on the aftermarket because he was in the last night wave, and that wave like is notoriously under distributed for like pretty much any line, and so like nobody ever saw it. So you can pick one up like, I don't know, $35 maybe, if you find a good place. Oh, hey, he's got little like disc brake details in there too. But this like super hard to see. That's kind of cool though. I bet if you felt like popping these tires off, you could paint that disc brake it. Yeah, there's some customization options right there. Anyhow, everybody, thanks for watching. You guys are all awesome. Have a good day and be good to each other. I'll see you around. Bye.